For this video, let's talk about what is the measure of public health emergencies or international concern. So let's start.
It is the Bureau of Quarantine shall institute rules and regulations governing the measures for the control of the introduction and spread of public health emergencies of international concern at the port and airport of entry. See Annex B. In the event of an outbreak of public health emergency of international concern in a community, the Director of the Bureau shall recommend to the Secretary of Health the following measures for the prevention of transmission and spread of such public health emergency in coordination with Department of Health Agencies, HEMS, NCDPC, NEC, NCHFD, CHDs, and other concerned government agencies, and ECC. DILG. February 1st, 53 Apprehension, detention/isolation or surveillance of suspect/cases. February 2nd, 53 Place under active or passive surveillance, individuals who have been exposed to the infection considered as dangerous contact. February 3rd, 53 To declare an area or community under quarantine where the public health emergency occurs. 53.2 The Secretary of Health is authorized to mobilize other government agencies for the purpose of preventing the introduction, transmission, and spread of public health emergencies of international concern. Management protocol for diseases subject to the international health regulations. Cholera-infected ship or aircraft. 54.1 General consideration. January 1st, 54A ship or aircraft shall be regarded as infected if during the voyage a case of cholera has occurred on board. January 2nd, 54 When coming from a cholera-infected area, a ship or an aircraft on arrival shall be regarded as non-infected if upon inspection by the quarantine medical officer there is no case of cholera that has occurred on board during the voyage. January 3rd, 54 Water carried on board which is considered contaminated shall be disinfected, removed, and the containers shall likewise be disinfected. January 4th, 54 Human excreta, wastewater including bilge water, and any matter which is considered to be contaminated shall be properly disinfected under supervision of the Bureau of Quarantine prior to disposal. January 5th, 54 Unloading of contaminated matters and wastes shall be in accord with the anti-pollution law under the supervision of the Bureau of Quarantine in coordination with other concerned agencies. January 6th, 54 Persons engaged in the unloading of such contaminated materials shall be subject to surveillance for a period not exceeding 5 days from the time they cease unloading. 54.2 Management of cholera-infected person or suspect. February 1st, 54 Medical examination of crew and passengers. February 2nd, 54 Patients shall be disembarked, isolated, and treated. A cases manifesting the clinical symptoms of the disease, in which no cholera Vibrio organism has been found or in which Vibrios found are not characteristic of cholera Vibrio, shall be considered as actual patients and treated as such. B. Cholera suspect/S on arrival shall be disembarked, placed under surveillance, and treated. They shall be released only when 3 successive bacteriological examinations of their stools have been found to be negative. C. Vaccination with oral cholera vaccine to travelers when requested. D. Baggage of any infected person or suspect and any other article which is considered contaminated shall be disinfected. Section 55. Plague. Plague infected or suspected ship or aircraft. 55.1 General consideration. January 1st, 55A ship or an aircraft on arrival shall be regarded as plague infected if it has a case of human or rodent plague on board. May 2nd, 55A ship on arrival shall be regarded as suspected if it has no case of human plague on board but there is an abnormal death among rodents on board with unknown cause. May 3rd, 55A ship or an aircraft coming from a plague-infected area shall be regarded as non-infected if on inspection the conditions specified in the preceding paragraphs A and B do not exist. May 4th, 55A ship or an aircraft shall be subject to fumigation under any of the following: A. With human or rodent plague on board. B. With moderate or heavy rodent infestation coming from plague-infected area. 55.2 Management of plague-infected person or suspect. February 1st, 55 Medical examination of crew and passengers. February 2nd, 55 Patients with plague shall be disembarked, isolated, and treated. February 3rd, 55 Asymptomatic suspect will be placed in quarantine or placed under surveillance for a period of not more than 6 days from the date of exposure. February 4th, 55 Baggage of a plague-infected person or suspect and any other article or part of The ship or aircraft considered to be contaminated shall be disinfected. Section 56. Yellow fever. Yellow fever infected or suspected ship or aircraft. A ship or aircraft may be classed as yellow fever infected if it has a case of the disease on board. A vessel or aircraft must be disinfected against mosquitoes before the discharge of cargo to countries infected with the disease, under the supervision of the quarantine officer. Medical clearance of foreigners for immigration purposes. Section 57. Medical examination of foreigners/aliens for immigration purposes. 57.1 as the medical arm of the Bureau of Immigration pursuant to RA 997 of 1954. As amended by RA 1241 of 1955, the Bureau of Quarantine is mandated to conduct physical and medical examination of foreigners or aliens seeking residency in the country as a prerequisite to the issuance of their corresponding visa by the Bureau of Immigration. 57.2 Classification of defects and diseases of foreigners/aliens which are subject to administrative disposition by the Bureau of Immigration. February 1st, 57 Class A, a classification that a foreigner has a communicable disease of public significance, and/or has a physical or mental disorder that may pose, or has posed, a threat to the property, safety, or welfare to himself or to others. February 2nd, 57 Class B, a classification that a foreigner has a physical or mental abnormality, disease, or disability serious in degree or permanent, resulting to a substantial departure from his/her normal well-being, which may affect his ability to earn a living. February 3rd, 57 Class C, a classification that a foreigner is afflicted with any condition properly classified as a physical defect or disease which is minor or transient in nature and not likely to affect his ability to earn a living. 57.3 Only regular quarantine medical officers can issue the medical clearance of foreigners/aliens. 57.4 Examination requirements for foreigners/alien. April 1st, 56 Chest X-ray. April 2nd, 56 Serology. April 3rd, 56 Stool examination. April 4th, 56 Urine examination. April 5th, 56 Other examination when necessary. Utilization of income. Section 58. Authority to utilize at least 50% of the income to prescribe the guidelines relative to the implementation of Section 9 of the Quarantine Act of 2004 RA 9271, quoted as follows. Section 9. Authority to utilize income. The Bureau of Quarantine shall be authorized to use at least 50% of the income generated, subject to accounting and auditing rules and regulations. The President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago has signed into law an amendment to the Public Accounts Committee's PAC Bill of Rights, which provides that no amount in the said trust fund shall be used for the payment of salaries and other allowances and benefits in cash or in kind. The Bureau of Quarantine shall maintain separate books of accounts to cover the receipt and utilization of all income collected pursuant to the usual budgeting, accounting, and auditing rules and regulations. Such income as enumerated below which shall be referred to as quarantine income in this section shall be constituted as trust fund and shall be deposited in any authorized government depository bank, AGDB. March 1st, 58 vaccination fees. March 2nd, 58 laboratory fees. March 3rd, 58 deriding fees. March 4th, 58 service fees. March 5th, 58 fines and penalties. 58.4 The interest income arising from the trust fund shall be remitted to the Bureau of Treasury. 58.5 The other 50% shall be treated as income in the general fund, to be remitted to the Bureau of Treasury. The utilization of the income shall be approved by the Director of Quarantine upon the recommendation of the Management Committee of the Bureau in the form of a resolution. Copy furnished the Office of the Secretary of the Department of Health and the Department of Budget and Management. The Bureau of Quarantine Office of the Secretary of the Department of Health in Guyana is to publish a quarterly report of estimated income collection and utilization, as indicated in Annex C and C1, certified correct by Bureau Budget Officer and Accountant. That's all. Thank you. I hope you learned something and thank you for your listening.